So it should be counting. Yeah, cool. And what's your name, by the way?
Chandler.
Chandler.
Yep.
Right, cool. I can remember that because there was this TV show. I'm an old dude. Never mind. I know.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Cool. So where are you? I was asking them, like, have you chosen somebody to support?
Yeah, pretty set.
Who'd you choose?
Marco Rubio.
So you're kind of a Rubio fan, and just so we understand, you came here just to kind of. You were saying I came here for the spectacle.
I wanted to come here to see the madness. I've heard so many different conflicting things about this. I wanted to see what this was about.
Okay, interesting.
I've got definitely my fair share of what this is.
We share that interest in the spectacle, I guess. And so I'm trying to get to the bottom of, like, you know, somebody has chosen to conclude something, and I want to know why they concluded that. So let's stick with Marco Rubio. So if you're going to put yourself on a scale of 0 to 100, how convinced are you that this is the right candidate for a president?
About 75.
75, okay.
75, yeah.
So 75 is pretty high. It's not 100. Some people I run into are like 100. I'm probably not 100 on anything. I mean, you know, my name is Ryan. Pretty sure it's not a big conspiracy, but it could be. So what would you say is putting you at 75?
So 75. It's not necessarily Marco Rubio himself. It's other candidates. I think Trump is an imbecile. I think he's an imbecile.
Right.
I think Ted Cruz is too hardcore. He's just too. He's not going to be able to compromise and get things done with the Democrats and the Republicans. And with Marco Rubio, I just see a sense of unison. I feel like he can rally.
Do you mind if I don't know if it's going to help, it's going to be echoey, but if we step kind of over here, because I think anybody has got the point that there's a lot of tension right now. But that's why I'm trying to be the anti-tension and just say, okay, let's talk about belief. So it seems to be like you're saying you want somebody to kind of work with, tell me if I'm wrong, that obviously not, maybe compromise isn't the best word. When you say work with a group, you seem to be saying that's important, right? Like,
absolutely.
So
I think if you're going to get anything done, I mean, practicality, you think of teamwork. Teamwork is just something that you got to have in order to get things taken care of. And I think Marco Rubio does have a sense of what true conservatism is. This is not true conservatism.
Let's talk about that. What is true conservatism from your...
True conservatism is not slamming immigrants. It's not bashing a man based on just who he is. You know, if you attack somebody, you attack their position, you don't attack the person. You know, ad hominem. But true conservatism is saying that the United States government is here to protect us. It is here to provide the best well-being for us, in so much that it doesn't intrude on our values. It doesn't intrude on our personal space, if that makes any sense. And not the best definition. Conservatism is not this bigotry and this Islamophobia and this homophobia. This is not conservatism.
What would you say about Marco Rubio that convinces you that he's, and you might not think he's the best guy, you might have just chosen him up till now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, that he espouses that kind of adherence to your definition of conservatism, kind of how you described it?
Well, I think that Marco is probably, I don't know how to describe. It's really tough to describe. I think Ted Cruz, you have that kind of conservatism, which is a very strict, literal interpretation of what the Constitution says. You have somebody like Trump, who's a populist, who doesn't really have any convictions, and I think Marco Rubio is genuine in what he says. In the conservative movement, in a genuine conservative movement, you have a positive reflection of what immigration is, and I believe Marco Rubio does. He is an immigrant. I mean, well, not necessarily him, but his family was.
His parents.
His parents were. And I think he just kind of embolds this common sense approach to immigration, to healthcare, to welfare.
Well, let's imagine. Obviously, I don't know if this exists or not, but if he was to do something or say something that would maybe put you down the scale, like where you're like, well, maybe I'm 50-50 now. What would that be? Just out of curiosity.
Before words, I agree with Trump.
So what's funny about you is that it seems like you like the Republican Party in general. You really like, but you just are not digging this guy at all.
He's like, if this documentary goes anywhere, mark my words on this, Donald Trump has split the Republican Party. He has split the conservative movement. because people get this impression that this is what conservatism. This is not conservatism.
What would you call this?
I would call this hysteria. I would call this madness. I would call this genuine anger. I think these people are genuinely angry at what's happening, but they're not genuine.
Do you agree with that? Do you think that there's something happening that warrants this level of hysteria, or do you think this is totally unwarranted?
Well, I don't want to compare this to Obama, but it is a similar hysteria in that with Obama, that was something historic. That was something with the first black president. I can see people running and latching to this. People are latching to a man who has made fun of disabled people, who is constantly talked down to immigrants, who, like in the rally we were just in there, he's just telling, get them out of there, get them out of there, get them out.
Were they protesters or?
They're just silent protesters. I mean, they just held up a sign that said, I think it was the Black Lives Matter, which I don't necessarily agree with all of that, with a lot of it, but some of it's true. There's brutality and whatnot going on. But there's just, with Trump, there's just this demagoguery that is it's repulsive, man. It's not unifying. It's I don't know.
So we'll probably I didn't start the timer, but we'll say there's like a minute left. But just I'm really thanks again, Chandler, for just stopping and talking to me, which is awesome. But let's say you've obviously you've espoused your reasons for why you're voting for Rubio. Just this is a total hypothetical. We'll start here. Could you ever say vote for? I don't know how it's going to go down. I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton's going to get the nomination. I don't think Bernie Sanders is going to get it, but. Is there a situation where you would vote for example, Hillary Clinton for president? We can talk about Democrats in general, but let's just stick with something specific.
Hillary Clinton specifically. I would not vote for her. If Trump is the nominee, though, I will not vote for the Republican nominee.
You'll just abstain.
I will vote third party. There's a guy, Jim Webb. Jim Webb, heard of him?
Yeah.
I'll probably vote for him. If a guy, I know they've talked about Michael Bloomberg coming in and something like that. Rumors of that, possibly something like that, but
you just won't give your vote to this.
I will not be on the wrong side of history. People are going to look back on this guy and they're going to say this is crazy. This is not what the United States stands for. It's not the American dream. We're not making America great by all of this nonsense that's going on. I'm not buying into it.
Chandler, man, you were great. Thank you so much. And so take my card.
Absolutely.
And you just send me an email. I'm doing a completely different documentary, but that email will reach.